opportunity and bring everybody together, put him on the spot, and give the team the opportunity to ask the things that you're curious about the company, about Wayne, etc. So you are our speaker today, and you are on the spot.
Well, perfect. And just to let you know, when we're done, I have 15 questions for you. So paybacks are going to be fun. So no particular order, I'll just open up some of these and answer your questions.
So exciting.
All right, the first one is, what is your philosophy or view on work-life balance? My philosophy and view on work-life balance is it must happen. It is very important. That's why we occupy 40% of your time, and your off time is X number of hours outside of that. So it's very important that you balance your life. It's very important that you have a personal life. It's very important that you have a work life as well. Any questions about that, or any drill down, or? Don't you start.
Did you put it in the envelope?
No, he said his favorite questions about work-life balance.
Yes.
Do you ever not work?
It's very hard. I mean, you know the answer to that before you ask it.
I know, but they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I get phone calls in the middle of the night from overseas. I had a phone call last night from Cambodia at 2:15 in the morning, and you got to answer it because it's 1 o'clock in the morning, or it's 1 o'clock during the day, their time. So there's not a minute of the day that, I don't have the company on my mind, you on my mind, the security of the business on my mind, and the future on my mind, because, at the end of the day, it's kind of like your personal bills. You have to pay your bills. Well, I have to, put food in everybody's pocket, money in everybody's pocket to buy food and shelter and everything like that. So I would say, Courtney, again, better than anybody, it's always on my mind. I'll wake up some nights and I have a yellow pad by my bed, and I'll write down ideas, and I'll tell Christy about it when I get in. Hey, I thought of this last night. She's like, where'd you think of that? I said, in the middle of the night, doing research or whatever. So, but yeah, it's always on my mind. Any other drill downs on that?
That's a heavy burden, isn't it?
It's a lot of responsibility.
I know.
That one I already asked. All right. So, what was the biggest turning point in your career? What is one thing that you would have done differently? I would say the biggest area I screwed up was family. So I have a daughter, she's 33. I was divorced when she was 4. And I lived all over the country, running businesses, and whatever, but I was always thousands of miles away from her. And if I had to do that all over again, I would have not been, I don't know if selfish is the right word, because I don't view myself as being selfish, but I would have not been so career driven. I would have been more Melissa driven in that. So if I had to turn the clock back, that's exactly what I would have done. Turning point in my career, I would say was really when I was 16. In my career, I'm just going to say my life, is because some of you may know this, some of you don't, but I was going to commit suicide when I was 16. I had it all planned out. I stopped at the store and bought a dryer vent hose for $2.39. I signed it on my parents' account because back then you could just go in and buy something, they'd pay for it at the end of the week when they got paid. And I was going to suffocate myself that afternoon after school. And I had a school teacher when I went to school that looked at me and says, I don't know what's wrong with you, boy, but you need to snap out of whatever your issue is or whatever. And she goes, you matter, you can do anything when you put your mind to it, and don't let the world get you down. And right then, I said, you know what, you're right. And I left school that day. I returned the dryer vent hose because I didn't want anybody to see it on the ledger, because my mom and dad would ask me why it was for. And then I'd explain that to them, and they really didn't give a shit. So I didn't have to explain it for that reason. And basically, she changed my life, which is why we have You Matter here, which is why we have signature lines, You Matter. I honored her in Las Vegas. I'm not sure when it was, but what concert was that? might have been Billy Joel. I had a Billy Joel concert for the charity that I was heading up, and I brought her out on the stage and said, look, you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason all these people's lives can change because, you know, you instilled in me that, you know, I wasn't, you know, a worthless piece of crap like I was being told. So I don't really know if there was a pivotal change in my career, but I think that would be the pivotal change in my life that I could probably answer that question with. What questions on that? If it's shut, we're in trouble. What is the one thing you would change about the company? Yes, I got all these eyeballs looking at me. I'm gonna come back to that one. I want to think about that. Is that allowed?
Yeah. You had to put 10 of them underneath the basket then.
Come back.
That goes under the basket.
No, I'm just being funny. What personal challenge, whoever's handwriting this is absolutely interesting. What personal challenge you had to endure to be able to have success or get what you wanted? I would say the biggest thing there was believing in myself, because I had very low self-esteem. Believe it or not, you guys may just laugh when I tell you this. I'm an introvert, big time. Believe it or not, unless I'm in a comfortable setting, unless I'm with people I know, or I like, or I'm comfortable around, I am very much an introvert. You put me in a cocktail party, I'm a prostitute in church sweating. Literally. And people don't believe that.
No.
So a lot of it had to do with self-confidence and believing in myself. So, you know, the biggest thing I had to do was like, okay, if you were told you're dumb, stupid, ugly, fat, goofy, you know, all your life, and you got to say, okay, well, I'm really not dumb, stupid, fat, ugly, goofy, even though I may be goofy. But my point is I had to tell myself that, to believe myself. So that was a challenge I had to overcome. Would anybody have ever guessed I was an introvert?
No.
No. Nobody can believe it. I mean, I would tell you I'm an introvert. Tom, would you agree with that?
I told you a lot of things, but that's not one of them.
Shut up, Chuck. I'm going to take you back to
Chuck, do I need to escort you
Where did-
out of the room?
Yeah.
No hecklers.
I mean, Tom would be with me. I said, Tom, don't leave me, because I don't really, you know, I know what to say, but I don't want to have that first conversation. And you know, you go these bit, like I got to go next week. I'm already nervous about it, because there's going to be a cocktail party Tuesday night, but I know Chrissy's going to be there, Courtney's going to be there, and Carmen's going to be there. So I know I'll be comfortable around them, but it's like, I don't want to go, hey, Yvonne, who are you? How you doing? What are you doing?
A little small talk.
What's your story? It's like, you know, just get to the bottom line. But for me to make that interaction with Yvonne is like really, really, really difficult. I struggle with that big time. But people don't know that. Trust me, I know it. Oh God, this is a 4-pager. So was there ever a time when you landed a role you didn't feel 100% qualified for, and how did you proceed? I put the pedal to the metal. I faked it till I made it. And I gave it my all. Every job you have, nobody is ever 100% prepared for it. Nobody, including me, owning the business. I'm not 100% prepared for this. But I put the pedal to the metal, I make it happen, and basically you just surround yourself with the best people, which is why we're all here, and that'll make you successful. So the question was there a role I ever landed that didn't feel 100%? Every one of them. Every single role I've had, I've never felt 100%. I don't feel 100% today, you know, but every day I give it my 100%, my 110%. You see, if you threaten Chuck to take him back to the home early, he'll be quiet.
Oh.
I'm ready to go home.
gonna put those are two of the same, so I need to think about those a little bit.
Come on, you keep on that.
Yeah, there's two. Oh, this is really pretty. Christy, we have an artist in here, look.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Wow, so we put some thought in that one.
Pretty creative.
Make you origami?
All right, ask Wayne 4 questions at once. How did you know you wanted to do this? This, I'm assuming, would be the company. Well, we were at a conference somewhere. Well, first of all, when I left Souls for Souls, I kind of invigorated our marketing company that used to be pretty big, about 10 or 14 years ago. It was headed up by Chris Carmichael, which is a guy in Oregon, and a couple other people. I can't remember who they were, but so I kind of restarted that. And I was at a conference, and Courtney and I were there in Tampa, and they were asking nonprofits, hey, what is your biggest challenge? Everybody said, money. And then they started going around, how do you market your charity? And they're like, well, we do Facebook, we do, Instagram, we do whatever, but we have no money to spend on it. So really we do nothing. We have local people posting or a branch manager posting or whatever. And at the same time, that day home from Tampa on the way back here, I got a call from somebody in Haiti that said, Wayne, we can't get enough shoes. Ever since you left your charity, nobody's sending shoes, and how can we get more product down here and whatever. And literally it clicked. I said, wait a minute, if I could do a shoe drive fundraiser for a charity to raise money, I could pay the charity, they could buy more services from the marketing company. That was kind of funny, but and it may work. So I said, all right, so why don't we start a company that helps people raise money, and I can get the Haitians or shoes they want, or whoever wants them around the world. Thought about it for about 3 hours, called Angela, say, I have an idea, here's a logo I want you to do. I want it to be called Funds to Orgs. Literally, this is on the way home from Tampa. And I said, I wanted to be called Funds to Orgs. I started talking to Courtney about it, I called Tom about it, and here we are today, 10 years later. So the reason I wanted to do it was I saw a need. I saw a need for the people that needed the product, and I saw a need for the charities that needed the money. And then I said, okay, there could be 4 pillars to this as well. It could be the micro enterprise part, it could be the funding the charity, it could be the recycling thing, keeping shoes out of landfills, and it could be to employ local people, to run the company. So really there was 4 facets to the business, and I would say this was October, and we launched the company unofficially in January and officially in April of 2013. Correct?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of making Funds to Orgs? I'm going to say the financial part at the beginning, and Tom and Courtney know this story, but so you guys that have been around me have always said, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. If you're in charge of sales, worry about sales. If you're in charge of logistics, worry about logistics. If you're in charge of operations, worry about operations. Because if not, what happens, everybody does everybody else's job and nothing gets done. Because it's very easy then for Tom, as example, to say, well, that's, I was doing logistics, so I couldn't do sales. Or Courtney to say, I was doing sales, I wasn't doing logistics, whatever. So it's very easy for people to convolute what they do and really screw up an organization. I've actually been criticized for that management style. That I'm very adamant about, you know what, you stay in your lane, you do this. I want your opinion, but I want you to focus on this 99% of your time and 1% on everything else. So, so the hardest part was basically getting what I had with limited resources. And the financial part of this became very stressful for me But I was adamant about Courtney staying in her lane, Tom staying in her lane, we had Alan and Savannah working for us at the time in sales, staying in your lane, Judah staying in your lane, and Krista staying in your lane, because I had to worry about funding the company. Nobody knew in this business that we didn't have enough money to make payroll but Judith. I think at the time, Judith, is that correct? She's the only one that didn't know it. I needed $100,000 like this. I knew we had sales coming in. I knew we had other stuff happening, but I needed $100,000 to get me through 3 months before all this stuff really started clicking. I could taste it in my mouth that this was going to be a success. I went to BB&T. At that time at BB&T, I was a depositor. We had, we might have had $30,000 in the account at any given time, which is nothing in the scope of a banking relationship, and basically we were just struggling. I went to BB&T, I said, look, I'm a good customer, I have some investments with you guys, I've been a customer forever with my personal stuff, my business stuff. Can you loan me $100,000? And the guy politely said,
No.
no. You know why? Because I needed it. Banks don't loan you money when you need it, they loan you money when you have it. So the guy told me no, and I'll get back to that. The guy told me no, and I said, wow, what am I gonna do? Literally, called up Chase, called up Bank of America, and called up Barclays. Look, do you have any interest-free credit cards for 90 days? I said, my credit score is about 800. Could I qualify for that? No problem. Okay, so I applied. I had 3 credit cards. My limit was $99,800. They were maxed out within weeks. They were paid off in 90 days. We've been debt-free ever since. And I told BB&T to screw themselves. Then they asked me to be on the board, and we became very successful because, again, when you need money, they don't care about you. When you have money, they want you. So they asked me to be on the board of directors of local area. They hired me to speak multiple times, twice at different conferences they had, so on and so on and so on. But when I needed them, they weren't there. And I told this story on stage with the CEO of BB&T sitting right there in front of somebody. They asked me to speak. And I said, when you need a bank's not there for you. And I gave that example for them. So, and that's true. If you think about the way it works, if you got high deposits, they're all over you because they want you to keep your money there because they're giving you 0.1% on savings right now and loaning it out for 7%. So they want your money to stay in the bank. Any words of wisdom for others trying to make a business? Just do it. Do it. Make it happen. Put together a plan, financial together, and make it happen. I mean, you don't want to look back in 20 years and you know what, I want to do this. I wish I would have done this or whatever. You just need to do it. If you're that convicted about doing it, give us your resignation and go start your new business and make it happen. Give it your all, just like I gave it my all here. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do it. But you just have to really take that step to get from point A to point B. What questions on the 72 questions did we just ask? They had a Cuban, buy one, get free. Chuck, you okay?
Did you ever get a call already kind of a medical?
No, Courtney, what did I get from BB&T? Oh, they gave us box tickets to something. So he asked if I ever got an apology from BB&T. They don't apologize.
Got like some hockey tickets or something.
Hockey, yeah, they gave us like,
No, we went to go see Maroon 5.
that's what it was.
That's what tells her.
Which was worth it. They were great.
Oh,
They were awesome seats.
But then they roll over you about taking more loans and.
Yeah.
But
This is a 3-part question, it says. What was your very first car? Who bought it? And what happened to it? My very first car was a Volkswagen Beetle. I was 17 at the time. My birthday is 1965. I went to the bank, a local bank. I said my birthday was 1964, so that I would be 18. And back then, they didn't run credit report. They didn't do it. They just said, okay, no problem. You need $3,000. Okay, no problem. We'll do that. Make sure you pay it every week. So I went to the bank, borrowed the money under a false birthday, and got it. Now, the problem with that, like 10 years later, when my wife and I bought our first house, it was like 7 years later, when I had to really apply for a loan, my birthday in the system was 1964. They're like, sir, you know how this happens? Oh, you know, data entry happens all the time. I just have something like So anyhow, I had to get that clarified and fixed. And to do a mortgage back then, it was rather difficult. So, I mean, they had to like make sure the T's were crossed and I's were dotted or whatever. And so that was kind of funny. So who bought it? I bought it. What I do with it? I sold it and I got a Chevy Citation. With wide tires, it was red, it was gray, it was 5-speed, it was awesome. Chevy Citation.
No, right?
It's like, what?
That.
Went from a VW to
What's your
that.
favorite car still that you love and miss?
That I love it. Oh, my Isuzu Trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a Isuzu Troopers in Nashville. My rule was drive it to Quits Run and leave it on the side of the road, take the tag off, have a company come get it to the deal and buy another one because they were always on the street corners. So I would buy one. I literally broke down in the biggest intersection in Nashville, pulling my boat where the damn transmission fell out.
Oh, God.
So I was in the center of this big highway, 6-lane highway, Madison, Old Hickory Boulevard, that area, in the center, blocking the whole road with a 25-foot boat and my Isuzu Trooper in front of it. So you know what I did? Towed the Isuzu Trooper, called the deal, went and bought another one, picked the boat up, took it back to my house.
You bought another Isuzu Trooper?
There was one right down the street for sale for $1,200.
Trooper.
Yeah, it's not a good car.
So when did you? They're a great car.
They always on the side of the road, bro.
It's like, what?
I should have known that, right?
CMO, how's that great car?
Yeah.
I know, right?
I'm
Horrible
confused.
car.
Cheap. When did you first see the impact that LC Enterprises has on the world? I would say I had a vision before I even started any of these companies of where it could be, because I'm pretty versed with different cultures, traveling as much as I have. So I really saw it from the beginning, like before it happened, that hey, this would make a difference in Haiti, or this could make a difference in their space, their country, whatever. So there wasn't really an aha moment I had. I just knew this was going to happen because I knew the way other people lived, and I've always been versed to that. So this is a great one. Where do you see the organization in the next 5 years, and what specifically do we need to do to get to the next level? So, and this is why I put this here, because I knew this question would come up. If you look at, we started the company in 13, and just figure this is 2020 here, 19, 21, and 22. So we started the company and did this. Literally did this. We went from $1 million to probably $2.8 million overnight the first year, and then it's kind of doubled and tripled from there. So our company did this. 2019 was our largest year ever. Banner year, absolute banner year. Our business was on the trajectory of doing pretty much like this. If you asked me back then where it would be, I would say it was going to look like this, okay? So 2019 was awesome. And then what happened during 2020, we went like this. We didn't go down to here, we didn't go to here, but we went down several $1 million in revenue for the company. Literally, I thought we were gonna lose the business. It was that bad. None of you guys knew that. None of you guys knew when I borrowed $100,000 on a credit card, because you need to worry about your job and staying in your lane, right? This is my lane that I gotta worry about. Now, it's none of your worry about anything financial. That's my lane, okay? So the company went down to here, and thank God, I went to Deb. I said, Deb, you know what? The Haitian market here, if you look at the hospitality industry, and I'm not saying anything negative about the Haitians because I love them to death, I'm just gonna shoot you straight. 63% of the people that work in this town in hospitality are Haitian. Probably 63% of those people that work in hospitality have relatives in Haiti that need product. I said, I'm betting they do. Deb and I put an ad on Facebook Marketplace in the conference room over there was a store. And I said, Deb, I gotta get some money. You know, yes, I got PPP, yes, I got this, yes, we have savings, but there's only so much I'm gonna spend in my personal money. If this thing's gonna go under, I'm not gonna lose everything, because the biggest thing I had as a CEO and an owner of a business, I had no control. I had the government telling me, shut down and shut up, basically, and deal with it, which is not a good feeling. When I always do what I want, because it's our business, you know what I mean? So we put it out on Facebook Marketplace, and literally that Saturday, Deb, how long was the line? 30 people before we opened. I'm like, what the hell is this? What the ad say? So we looked at the ad to make sure that they were giving away shoes or something. Literally, we lost $2 million in revenue because of COVID. We gained back $1.5 million in revenue because of that little store over there. Literally. So we wouldn't, I don't want to use the word pivot, but I'll use it because everybody and the mother uses it, right? I mean, we wouldn't have pivoted, you know, we would have been in trouble as a company. So we pivoted, and basically we got ourselves out of a hole that we had no way of predicting or planning for. So now, in 2022, I told you 2022 is a banner year. We are just going to be a little bit above 2019. I'm pleased with that. The problem I have is, again, we started here. We should have been like this. So we had to rebuild. The way you financial model a company, go 3, 1, 3. 3 in the past, 1 is the current, 3 is the future. Okay, so my 313 back here looks different than it does today because I had this blip here. Any questions about that?
So that's why when we're comparing numbers, we don't use 2020, we use 2019.
Yeah, 2020 to me was just a non-existent year. I've been telling my executive team for a year, I don't care about 2020, everything gets compared to 2019. And now everything will get compared to 21 and 22 as we go forward because we kind of did our 313. We've had our 1 year, now we got 3 years to go back up. So where do I see the future? It's bright. What do we need more of? We need more coaching, we need more sales, we need more bags, you know, and we have a great team here. This is why we brought on D'Angelo. Big investment of having a key account person doing nothing but key accounts. You won't see him coaching, you won't see him selling. Mini drives in the next 30 days, you're gonna see him focus on big fish because we need some big fish to get us up to this level here. We actually hired a key account guy in here and he got spooked, which I don't blame him. And he went back to for his old company because I didn't know what the future was. And I was honest with him. I said, dude, I'm not sure what's gonna happen, man. So he left and now we're repositioned. We're kind of going back to where we were in 2019 from a strategy standpoint by bringing D'Angelo on to basically take us up with key accounts. What have you lost on the way to achieving what you have today? I would say the biggest thing I lost was friends via betrayal, which really sucks because greed is an amazing thing. When people see you're successful, they want a piece of that. And I've had people screw me out of $5, $100, millions of dollars throughout the years because we have it right now in some regard. We have some people that are in the business because they're copying what we do. Plagiarism is not flattery. Plagiarism is stealing in my world. So the biggest thing for me is just people that, my friend circle is very tight because Courtney would tell you, since I've known her 9 years, there's a lot of people that I've just wiped out of my life because they screwed me, Which going back to, what I said the other day about Sammy, we have breakfast every morning. We had breakfast this morning. No agenda, no purpose, no nothing, just a bunch of bullshit and lies and fun, and truth to it too. You know what I mean? That's what a true friend is versus somebody that's getting close to you to suck money out of you or suck your energy out. Yeah.
Wayne's been 10, over 10.
Okay. correct me when you need to. Do I have a secret talent nobody knows about? Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right, so I told you I was an introvert, right? Did I ever tell you I was a clown?
I think a couple of us.
So believe it or not, you can Google Melvin and Magnificent. I could sing the song if you want me to, but I don't want to right now. But so Melvin the Magnificent, the children's favorite clown. His nose lights up when he does a dance. And he falls down, boom, in his baggy pants. He's Melvin, the Magnificent Clown. That was me. So when I was a kid, I would be Melvin the Magnificent, and probably 10 years ago, a very good friend of mine remade the costume for me, which she just called me on the way here this morning to say hello, made the costume for me in life. Courtney actually wore it for Halloween. But
She
I wasn't a
changed the
mean.
look
I
a
wasn't
little
a mean clown. I was a
yeah,
very
she
nice
changed the look up
clown.
a little bit.
So okay, you're like Wayne. You're a hypocrite. You're an introvert, but you're a clown. Well, not really, because I always told Courtney and Melissa, when I retire, I want to be the mime at SeaWorld. I don't have to talk to anybody. Just get a mess with them. You know what I mean? So I just get to mock them or whatever. So if I had a goal down the road, it would be to be the mime at SeaWorld on weekends. What are the biggest challenges our company and companies have right now? Growth. That's it. You know, it's kind of a new normal. You know, this year kind of restructure the way people think, restructure the way people communicate. If you think about Jim, for example, you know, back in 2019, people would answer the phone. Well, today people may not answer the phone and they may not reply to a text. So the whole processes of the way we order food, the whole processes of, you know, the way you go to McDonald's now, there's not a person, there's a screen, you know? That's reality. We're gonna be a cashless society before you know it. And it's gonna be less workers in stores, there's gonna be more equipment for us to buy from. So the whole human connection I've always talked about is missing from the world. So what we need to do is to just basically overkill people with service, overkill people with kindness, and basically be there accessible for them. Carmen hears it every day. One of our competitors doesn't have a phone number on the website. They call Carmen. Well, Carmen's now their customer service people, converting them to Sneakers for Funds versus their company. How do you measure success? I mean, I don't really know how you define success, but success is a very individual, personal thing to you. How I measure success to me personally is, you know, everybody says, well, it may be the money part, whatever. Well, the money's important, don't get me wrong. But, you know, the making a difference in people's life is number one, because I want to be like Mrs. Bush was to me when I was 16. I want to inspire somebody. I want to let people know that they matter. I want to, you know, go to a homeless person and say, look, you can change this route, you know, by doing X, Y, and Z, or just giving somebody a little hope. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But do I make an effort every day to make the girl at Starbucks or the person that waited on me this morning at Dixie Bell smile and laugh? Absolutely. Because they may be this far away of putting a gun to their head and blowing their heads out, blowing their brains out. You never know. You think about the junk you got going on in your life, nobody knows that. And nobody's life is perfect. If it is, you know what? Good for you. So you never know what's going through somebody's mind, no matter how simple it is, where it's at, what it is. It could be the guy you just flipped off driving down the road that cut you off. You never know. Those things are important. People matter. Everybody matters. And we all need to give a little bit more, because God knows what you're going through, or you're going through, or you're going through, or I'm going through. Nobody knows that. So this is, if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? I kind of covered that with the whole Melissa. What do you want the company to look like in 10 years? So I would say, from a growth standpoint, this is important. If you think about the momentum we had in this company October, November, and today, it's different than it was April, May, and June early this year. Why? Because we made some very strong strategic changes and really some strategic hires that brought some new energy in the organization. So where I see this in 10 years is I see nothing but growth. I don't see, any empty seats in this office and probably another office. We still own the building down the street that could have, people in there as well. We own the building next door as well that we could turn into offices. So I see it growing, but I also see something bigger than that who knows the structure of the company at that point in time. One of the things that I'm looking at is, okay, do we do an ESOP? An ESOP is an employee purchase of a company. Do we get to the point that the employees would buy the company, and I would still run it until you guys fired me, but do we get to the point that maybe we offer the employees ownership in the company at some point in time? Then it just has sustainability to it as a family-owned business versus a corporate thing. Or do we merge with another company? We've looked at buying probably 4 companies in the last 3 or 4 years to merge them with us, but it just didn't work out. We've actually bought 2 companies and bolted them onto our company, so I'm always looking for other opportunities for us, but I see us being nothing but bigger, better, stronger, faster, and maybe a change of ownership, and maybe one of the options for change of ownership may be the employees. Is the company for sale? Absolutely not. Am I interested in retiring the next 3 to 5 years? Not really. There's a lot of time out there that I can give and energy I can give to get what I want for all of us in the room to maximize our results. So nobody needs to look over their shoulder, nobody needs to worry about anything, but I think down the road, I'm 57 years old, so there needs to be a younger guard, and I want Scotty to be the CEO one day, or Cody to be the vice president, whatever. I want you guys to continue growing and looking forward to the future because, everybody's here for a reason, and the future that's really up to you, not me, it's up to you. Any other questions on that? Because I got 15 questions coming. Why can't we have happy hour every day? Or just drink and grab a bite whenever we want? Will you read this to me to make sure I'm reading this right?
Why can't we have happy hour every day? Or can we just have a drink, grab a bite whenever we want?
So I read that right.
You had 100%.
So, okay, has anybody ever done something in your personal life, business life, whatever, and all of a sudden it stopped? Has anything like that ever happened to you? That you had a fringe benefit or something? Christy's shaking her head, Donna's shaking her head, Ashley, and why did it stop? Chrissy, Mr. Cotter, what's up?
Somebody ruins it for the rest of us.
Somebody ruins it for the rest of us. So, that whoever asked that question, thank you for the question. But the answer is, the bar is there for strategic reasons to have an occasional happy hour during the week that's determined by operations or one executive team. It's not a free-for-all. Because if it becomes a free-for-all, then we don't have a bar. We can put a Coke machine there or something like that. Let me ask you another question. Has anybody ever worked in a company that had a bar?
Never.
Judith, I'm not talking about your desk. So the answer is no, except for Judith.
Except for
And Christy, I see your hand, but I'm trying to make a point here, please. So my point is, don't screw it up. Okay? My point is, don't screw it up for the rest of you because it's a luxury, it's fun. And guess what? I don't even drink. It's not for me. It's for you guys to enjoy at 4 o'clock when operations or when the executive team say, hey, let's have happy hour. You can suggest having happy hour. Oh, the last one. You can suggest having happy hour, but it's their decision. Okay? What questions about that?
What time is happy hour today?
4:30.
No, we got a lot to get done before this office closes.
Right?
I was about to say, I think today historically is one of the busiest parties on the planet.
Would you ever consider expanding in a second location? The answer is yes. I'm actually looking at doing something in Canada next year. I've actually talked to 2 people. We get a lead probably every 10 days from Canada. I'm not sure about having another office in a different part of the country because there's nothing they could do that we can't do here. You know, because we don't have trucks out of here. We have trucks out of where we need them. So it wouldn't make sense to have another corporate office in LA, for example. Because we could do everything in LA here with technology today. All right, any questions on that? These are really tough. All right, so the first one here is, if you could change one thing about how you started Funds to Orgs, what would it be? Well, how we started Funds to Orgs is we thought everybody was going to get a truckload of shoes, which is 40,000 pair. And that didn't happen. So, you know, our average dry right now is 2,200 pounds. So we were 38,000 pounds off, which is kind of familiar to our sales department forecast. But anyhow, what would I do differently? I don't know the answer to that. Tom, do you have any thoughts about that, or Courtney and Judith, since you guys were here since day one?
I think everything that has to happen in order for us to be here. We have to fail at that 40,000 pounds to realize that we needed something at 7,500 pounds for the classroom, but then at 2,500 pounds for the team. We have to happen, otherwise I don't think that, you always think big, so we always want to match that. And from there we took it and modified to a point that it was comfortable for everyone.
There wasn't any playbook. To
No.
start. And I don't care what kind of business book you get, you're not gonna have a playbook on how to start or run a company. It just doesn't work that way. And Wayne, with all your years of being president and CEO of various companies, and your experience, there is no, this is how you do it, this is what you do next, or, you know, I kept asking Wayne early on, because when I had my own business, I was just me. I never wanted employees, I never wanted to hire people. But as we started to grow, I kept asking him, how do you know when to add more people? Like, how do you know that, like, we need another salesperson? Or, you know, he kept saying early on, we need Donna Reisinger. I'm like, who the hell is Donna Reisinger? But there were, like Judith says, we had to go through those big goals, because you go big always right out of the gate. I mean, why would you go big? And then we kind of, like what Judith just said about making adjustments and so forth. I mean, you know, we thought using tractor trailers was a good idea to pick people up. Well, we can't control the customer experience. You know, Tom drove, I don't know if any of you guys know, Tom actually picked up shoes and was doing sales as he was driving from stop to stop at the same time.
And wrecked a few trucks.
And wrecked the truck. So as far as like, what you would change, I don't think there's anything, I agree with Judith, there really couldn't be anything, because how do you know where you need to be until you try these things out?
Well, I think if we had to change it, we change it. So I don't know what I would change, because I think we've done it. It's been like a work in process.
Yeah, because like Judith and I and Juan were talking the other day about how early on we were all part of the growth and the ideas and those changes as we moved to where we are. You know, now a lot of us have our specific lane or silo, if you will, because we are bigger than just, you know, 4 or 5 of us at the beginning. So, I really know.
So the last one that I want to think about is, what is the one thing you could change about this company? And I would say, if I could go back and change this, I would, but I can't. So all I'm going to change is I'm going to put the pedal to the metal. I'm going to surround myself with the best people, and I'm going to give it my all. And I want you to be part of that. All right, what other questions for me? Yes, sir.
Who are the kind of people that you decide to look for that you want to work with versus the people that you look for
So specifically employees, or what are you talking about?
Difference between who you look for within an employee versus a customer. What do you see within?
Yeah, the biggest thing I see in people is energy, commitment, and making it happen, right? I'll just use Tyler, for example. Tyler waited on me and Elise's husband at Waffle House for years. Our water glass never got low, our coffee cup never got low. He always had a smile on his face. He always was hustling around there. And what made me decide to offer him a job is one day he was waiting on tables, the next day he was greeting at the front door, and then like the third week later he was cooking. And I said, aha, this guy's versatile, this guy will do whatever it takes, and this guy has energy. I want to tell him, hey, we're hiring, come see Yvonne. Maria transacted a car with Deb and I when we were sold during COVID because I was getting freaked out. I had 2 pieces of equipment out here we didn't need. We had 2 vans. I said, let's go sell them. We went to CarMax, and Maria helped us do the transaction. She was professional. She was energetic. She was smiling. I asked her story. She moved here from Colombia, I believe, and taught herself English in 6 months. Dedication, commitment.
I still don't know English.
You know, all that. And I handed her my business card, and Deb laughed. I said, I like that girl. I'd like her to be on our team. So Maria called a couple weeks later and got on the team. Scotty, you know, your dad always talked about how hard you work. I haven't seen you in years. I told your dad on Wednesday morning, hey, look, I'm looking for somebody in the warehouse. If he wants to start, come see Yvonne tomorrow. You know? So it's hard work, it's dedication, it's energy, it's enthusiasm. You know, if I'm gonna spend 8 hours a day with you guys, I wanna like you. I don't wanna work with somebody I don't like, you know what I mean? So I wanna have people that have like-minded that, you know, can.
It's a whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
The biggest problem I have with people is if they realize how much I know what's going on, and they realize how smart I am about this business, I know everything. And it's not because we have security cameras, because I don't look at them. If I go look at a security camera, that means you're stealing, you're gonna be fired. I don't look at a security camera to see who's working or not. But I see it's called a dashboard. If anybody read my books, I talk about a dashboard. I know every day, no matter where I'm at in the world, how many sales we did, how many phone calls we made, how many deals we closed, how many SDAs we got outstanding, and I'll call Tom, hey Tom, what's up with this? Yvonne, what's up with this? I won't do it every day, but they know that I'm watching. The other thing is, some days around here, on a Friday, especially, which is okay, if I'm standing by the door at 4:58, you get run over. You're gonna get plowed. But if that happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know, that just kind of makes me think weird. It's like, okay, you know, I'm not saying people should work late. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you know what? Give it your all. Give it your best. Perception's reality. You know what I mean? In business. And, you know, everybody's here for a reason. Everybody's going to be great in this company. Everybody here we like, we enjoy. You all are doing a great job, and you're going to be part of the future. Give a little bit more if you can. You know, it's give and take with an employer. You know, we give a lot. We give a lot. You know, as an organization to our team, and I'm not saying that employees don't give it back, but maybe 1 or 2 you're caught in that rut. Just change it, because perception's reality. Right, Yvonne? I mean,
Sure.
What other questions? Because I got 15.